Today, I want to talk with you about the difference between rich and poor people. Because what I realized in all my years is that the rich and the poor are not separated by race. They're not separated by necessarily employment or by intelligence or by many of the exterior factors that a lot of people blame their own poverty on. But if anything, it's dependent on their mindset. It's dependent on how they leverage. It's dependent on how they use their resources. And today, there's many differences I could talk about between rich and poor people. But the biggest difference that I'm going to talk about is leverage. Because when we talk about leverage, we're not just talking about leveraging your money, like how everyone thinks, it's only supposed to be money, but also your time, leveraging your people, leveraging your talents, which is the most important thing. And if you leverage your time, your money, your talents, your people, then you, my friend, will be able to go further than every single person around you, even if you're older, even if you're darker skinned, even if you're a female, even if you're disabled, even if you feel like everyone is against you, or you don't have education, or life is unfair, or you faced many difficulties and betrayals. Once you learn how to leverage and the power of it, then you, my friend, will be able to change your financial positioning for the rest of your life. And if you think about it, rich people, they end up raising money while poor people end up wasting money. And that's one of the biggest difference that I want to talk about because like if you want to be wealthy, you have to learn how to manifest wealth basically instantaneously like that. You want to be able to manifest wealth while you're sleeping. But in order to manifest wealth while you're sleeping, you need to have people working while you're sleeping. Okay, you need to have money working while you're sleeping. You need to have your talents working as you're sleeping. For example, um, in my case, I have videos playing all the time, and people are reading my books, they're studying my material. I can be in the 6 hour of a deep sleep, and like thousands of people are seeing my content at a time. Actually, tens of thousands, probably more than that. Um, but every day, like without me doing anything, because I already set this up in the systems that I created, I have other people's attention simply because I said to myself several years ago that I want to have millions and millions of people studying my material when I'm not actually focused on it right now in that moment. So even though, like for instance, this live stream, I produced this live stream and I'm doing it in real time. But what's going to happen is that somebody's going to see it while I'm sleeping later. Somebody's going to say, you know what? This is helpful. This is impactful. And because of that, they may want to do business with me because they know what I do. They know who I am. They see what I'm saying. They understand what it is that they need to do in order to get me on their team to reach that next level. And if you want to work together, always email me directly at info@danielalley.com. So it's not just the content, right? It's the money, right? If I put money to work for me, let's say I have I bought $100,000 real estate, and 5 years elapses, that real estate could be worth double, but let's say it's worth $150,000. That money is working for me because instead of putting $100,000 in the bank, I have it in a house. But not only did I put $100,000 in that house in cash, I have money flowing into my pockets at $1,500 a month, which is $18,000 a year. Now, there's some costs, right? So if there's $3,000 worth in property taxes and maintenance and so forth, my net will be 15,000 a year. But in 5 years, it's $75,000 plus the $50,000 profit. So we're talking about $125,000 return on a $100,000 investment. And I didn't have to do anything except to buy a good deal and have the cash in order to pay for it. Right? So my money is being leveraged. My money is being put to work. Right? My talents are being put to work. My resources, my people are being put to work, right? When I'm sleeping, my employees in different countries, whether they be in Mexico or in the Philippines or Indonesia or China or Australia or the UK, they're working, right? They're in different time zones and they're producing an outcome. They're producing a favorable result for the business that I operate. My wealth is creating wealth. And that productivity is allowing me to create even more wealth than I had ever dreamed of when I was a kid. And because that wealth keeps on going, my income keeps on flowing, right? I get to use that money again on something else. So let's say I want to invest in something else besides real estate. I want to buy a laundromat. I buy a laundromat for $500,000. It's giving me 20, 30, 40, $50,000 a month. After a while, it pays for itself, right? Now, if a laundromat breaks down or things go wrong, you got to pay for that. That's okay, but that's called operating expense, right? And at the end of the year, you're going to get a profit no matter what, because you're not just looking at it just 1 year at a time. You're looking at it 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years at a time. All right, and then you want to pass that on to other people by making sure you protect your assets. You don't want anyone to try to destroy your assets or take it away, right? You want to be able to pass it on to your children, to the people you love, and you can create a trust. You can do many different things in order to protect your assets in the long term. So, what do poor people do? They get paid every week. They get paid every other week at the latest. And they end up spending on their bills, their utilities, their luxuries, and then they might have a little bit of money saved, $500, $1,000 a month, right? But $500 to $1,000 a month is only $6,000 to $12,000 a year. It can add up, right? Over 10 years, that's 60 to 120,000. But if you don't do anything with that money, then you're just wasting time. You're just wasting energy. You're just wasting resources. I was talking to a lady the other day, and she was like, you know what, Daniel, I just want to be financially free. I'm like, what does that mean? She said, well, I just want to be able to have money, do my nails, do my hair, buy my kids things, buy myself a Louis Vuitton purse. And I'm like, look, that's awesome. But if you just have extra money and that's what you want to spend it on, you got to be a little selective, right? I'm not saying don't get your nails done. I'm not saying don't get your eyelashes, your hair did. Like don't go out and But if you're gonna spend like $1,000 or $2,000 on a Louis Vuitton purse, you gotta rethink that, right? Because on Amazon you can get the same thing for like 50, $100. And nobody, like, when a woman buys a purse, this is a little side rant. The only person that cares about it is other women, right? Men are not like attracted to women who have nice purses. Like, oh man, look at her purse. Like that's not what we're looking at, right? like we're looking at other features. Now, some men might look at that, but I'm speaking on the behalf of the majority of men. 90% and up are not looking at the woman's purses, right? So you don't have to spend that much money on this. If anything, we're looking at their body, we're looking at their intelligence, we're looking at their faith, we're looking at their loyalty, right? So women out there, they try to gold dig and they think they have to do all these things to attract certain men and so forth. But the reality is that if you have it, you have it, right? If you're going to attract a rich husband, then you have to be a rich wife, right? You have to train yourself. You have to know how to take care of yourself and do the things that actually matter, not the things you think that matter. Anyways, done with the side rant. The main point here is that we have to understand that it is imperative to invest our money in things that make us money. Invest our time in things that create more time. How many times have I seen people who they've taken the long way to save a few bucks, right? Or they go to, like a cheaper grocery store to save like 10, 20 bucks a week. They're going into like a poverty store while they're passing the rich store and they're just saying to themselves it's too expensive. And they're simply just selling themselves this lie to believe in their minds and their hearts that they can't afford it. But the reality is that God can afford it, right? You might not be able to afford it, but God can afford it. He can easily purchase these things for you, right? So when you say I can't afford it, you're basically saying like I'm not trying to afford it, right? Like you're not trying to be better. Like that's like someone saying I can't run. If you can run and you say you can't run, it's not that you can't run, it's that you don't want to run. You've limited your mind and you've shut down your faculties in believing that you have the ability to run, and so therefore now you cannot run because of that disbelief. And so a lot of people cut themselves short by falling into the trap of thinking that they can't do the things that they know they can actually do. I was playing basketball yesterday, and the guy's like, "Oh, my shot is off," and he kept missing. And the more he kept saying it, it's like he wasn't just hitting the rim. Now he was like airballing it, and then he stopped shooting altogether. And I'm like, "Man, you gotta shoot your shot. You can't say it's off. You gotta say, you know what? I might have missed one or two or three or five, but I know if I keep shooting, I'm gonna make it." Right? And that's what wealth is about. Wealth is about persistence, because money does not go to people who does not know what to do with it or who do not have a good plan for it. Right? Even evil people end up getting more money simply because they have a plan for it. And righteous people may not get as much money because they don't have a plan for it. They might have a good heart. They might help the guy who has a breakdown on the highway. They might send their last funds to someone who needs help, and that's cool. But that's not a plan, right? God rewards that without a question. I'm not downplaying the value of being a good person. In fact, it's better to be a good person in the Lord, to follow Jesus Christ completely with all your heart, than to have like 10 billion or trillion dollars. So I'm never going to downplay that. But you can do both. That's the thing. And some people separate and they're like, well, I can't be rich and I can't be nice at the same time. And I say you can, right? You can be authentic. You can be wealthy. You can leverage. You can create everlasting wealth, but also everlasting life if you believe in Jesus Christ, right? So it's very important to think about this. People shortchange themselves and they think, well, I don't know, I can't do it because I'm not educated, or I don't have the money, or I don't have the talent. Well, you got to have one talent. You got to have one thing you're good at, right? You got to have some kind of purpose, all right? And if you don't have a purpose, you got to find somebody who has a purpose. Even if you got like 10, 20, 30, 50, $100,000 and you don't know what to do with it, find somebody who does and ask them for some kind of return, right? Like if someone wants to invest money with me, I'll invest it for them. It's very easy. Just reach out to me and we'll get it done. It's so simple. And I've done it so many times, and I can tell you that if you know that you can do more than what you have, it's probably going to burn inside, right? You're going to feel the pain. That's why a lot of people suffer, right? Because they know they can accomplish more. They know they can do far more than they currently are, but they're not living up to their potential, and then they end up gaining weight, or they end up becoming bitter, or they end up falling to some kind of addiction or bad habit that forces them to submit more to the devil more than they do to God. And that's why a lot of people who seem godly are overweight, right? Or they're so poor in a way that they shouldn't be poor, or they're hospitalized, right? Or they're disabled, because time after time again they have this false belief that something's going to happen without them putting in the effort. And God gives us many chances, right? We have so many chances to make a change. We have so many times where we can do something different, but a lot of people choose not to, right? Like even if you're 15 years old, you got to start thinking, right? By 25, you got to have some kind of plan. God gives you from, like, let's say 25, usually most people, and this cerebus paribus, meaning all things equal, from 25 to about 65, you got 40 years to figure it out. And it only takes about 5 to 10 to actually get it done. All right. For me, I made 6 figures in my second year of business. All right. And I made seven figures within 3 years. So like, it's totally possible for you to do this, but you have to know how to plan. You have to know how to coordinate. You have to know how to strategize, right? Money loves strategy. Money loves to be told what to do. Money is like a submissive wife waiting for instructions, right? If you believe in traditionalism like I do, and you're more on the conservative side, I would say, and you're a man, you have a conservative wife, or even if you're a wife and you have a strong dominant man, you know what I'm talking about, right? Like a woman is not going to know how to clean a house if you don't show her how to clean the house, how you want it to be done, right? You got to tell her, light the candles, like decorate the place. Look, this new holiday's coming up. I like this kind of food. Here's my top, 10 meals. Here's my two favorite ones. You can make these other five if you want. If you want to surprise me, we can go out to eat. You have to like communicate to your wife and show them exactly what it is that they need to think, how they need to operate, and what they need to do. And the more you are in control of her abilities to do it, the more confident she's going to be, right? The more you give her the ideas, the inspiration, the strategies, the wisdom, the more she's going to be able to serve you. And she's going to love you. She's going to respect you. She's going to revere you because she believes in your instructions. So money is the same exact way. Money does not like confusion, right? If you have 10,000 in the bank and you don't know what to do, and you're just like, I'm just going to save and save and save for an emergency, then you know what? That emergency is going to be prioritized, and that money is going to be taken from your account and give it to someone else's account who knows what to do with it. And usually it's like some big business or government agency or something like that, like a ticket or hospital bill, and they know what to do with the money, right? Because oh, we can perform heart surgery, we know how to do that, right? And so if you didn't have insurance, then they got to charge you, and then you're back on in debt because you have medical bills because you didn't know what to do with the money that you had when you had it, right? So it's like the whole cycle continues over and over again, and that's why so many people never get past it because they don't know how to leverage it. They don't know how to have a plan. They don't have a strategy. I've talked to people that have hundreds of thousands, millions, even hundreds of millions, billions, and they've inherited it. They've won lottery, and they're just like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, I should have double this, triple this, 10 times this, and it's biblical, right? It's biblical. Like Jesus Christ talks about it all the time, right? The three men, the king gave three men money. He gave one 1,000 talents or $1,000. He gave the other person $2,000, and then he gave the other person 5,000. The guy with the 1,000, he did nothing with it. So when the king came back, he's like, "Yo, get out of here. You're done. Give it to the man who has 5,000." The man with 2,000 doubled it, so he had 4,000, and the man with 5,000 doubled it. He had 10,000 plus the one that he got from the guy that didn't do anything with his money. Because the man with the 10,000 knew what to do, he was able to get $1,000, and that proves my point very clearly. So money only goes to those who knows exactly what to do with it. So even if there's some people who think they know, money doesn't care about what you think you know. It's like your wife trying to read your mind, right? Go back to that anecdote. The wife is not going to be able to read your mind. If you tell her, I want you to make me beef stew or chicken curry or some kind of soup, and in your mind you said it, but you didn't say it directly, the wife is going to be confused. Like, honey, what do you want? Like, they're not going to know. And so they're going to try to guess, and they might ask you, they might press you. And then usually a bad husband would not communicate this, or they would just yell back at their wife, you know what to make me, you know what I like, you read my mind. And then that's where disconnect happens. So it's the same thing with money, right? If you're not telling money what to do and you think that it's going to read your mind, oh money, you know what I like, you know what I do, you know who I am. That's not how this works, right? You're just going to end up losing the money. I got to take this person down, and hold on a second. I don't know, they're just commenting so much. See ya. Sorry guys, someone is taking up the comment section here. Anyways, I appreciate you guys, and thank you for the good comments too. So money is waiting for instruction. Money is waiting to be told what to do. Money is waiting to produce for you. Like your wife is waiting to produce for you, right? But it's not going to produce for you unless you tell the commands directly. You have to command it to do what it is that you want it to do. Otherwise, it's not going to listen to you. So leverage your time, leverage your money. Leverage your resources, your people, leverage your talents, right? If you got a talent, you got to use it, right? If you're a good baker and you can only bake so many cakes or so many cookies and so many items in a week, then you have to learn how to multiply that talent by showing other people who are equally capable, or sometimes people that are more capable. And then you have to duplicate those results and have them working while you're sleeping, right? So you can get some rest, you can come back and start selling the product instead of focus on the fine details of creating that product and pushing it out there because you already have a system working for you in your behalf. That's what business is about. Business is really busyness. Busyness. You're just busy all the time and you're doing all these things. You're trying to get payment processors, you're trying to file taxes, trying to hire people, trying to look at new recipes, right? Business is just busyness doing a whole bunch of things to make money, to serve people, and to serve people so you can make money. And it goes both ways, right? So you can't be in business unless you make money, right? And you can't serve people unless you have money either. So you have to leverage yourself in the greatest way, all the time, every time. Don't tell yourself that you can't. Don't tell yourself that it's too late. Don't say that you're too black, or that you're too short, or that you're disabled, or that you came from a poor family. I came from a poor family. We grew up on welfare. We had difficulties. I saw rats and roaches thousands of times. All right, we've seen welfare. We've seen difficulty. I had to go through metal detectors and get patted down every day. Got bullied. Got beaten up. I've seen it all. I've seen gunshots. I've seen all this stuff happen in my life, even before the age of 12. Right. So it's not about where you came from, but it's what you do with what you have. Now, for those people who are worried about, oh, well, they have a silver spoon in their mouth, and Donald Trump got a small loan of $2 million, and Bill Gates' daughter is super rich, and this, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter what happened to them, right? When you receive that much money, you still have to know what to do with it. If you don't know what to do with it, you're gonna feel guilty, right? You're gonna end up giving it to people that don't know what to do with it either, right? They know what to do with it, but their agenda is far different than what you would want to do, and because you don't know, it's going to be taken from you, and that's how it works. So even if someone with unlimited money, they're gonna have that heavy weight on them, and they're gonna be like, oh, I got $3 billion, I don't know what to do, and over again, they're gonna feel confusion, right? It's like having a lot of clothes in your closet, you feel guilty, right? If you have a lot of food in your fridge and your freezer and you know people out there are hungry, you feel guilty, right? It feels wrong. If you have a lot of friends and you're not giving them attention, you feel guilty, right? Guilt always comes to those who have too much and they don't know what to do with it. I'll say it again. Guilt comes to those who have too much that don't know what to do with it. Very important concept. So if you have too much money, you have too much time. If someone has too much time, they feel guilty, right? They're like, I don't know. I should help somebody out. I should do something with my time. I should be productive. Assuming that they have at least some kind of heart. They have some kind of positive feelings, and they want to actually help. So if people don't know what to do, they end up losing it, right? The old saying, if you don't use it, you lose it. And a lot of people end up losing money. They end up losing time. They end up losing opportunities. They end up losing people because they don't know how to further instruct them. I've seen many pretty women and many handsome guys who have not been treated well, and they've decided to move on because their spouse, their boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever, did not give them the admiration, the respect, the time, the love that they needed. And it's not that they're selfish or that they're narcissistic. It's just because we all have different needs. We all have different levels of needs. Like, I'm someone who needs a lot of attention. I know people who don't need anything. They're like, throw me in a room, give me the TV and a couple of beers or a book, and I'm fine. But for me, I need a lot of things because I operate a business that reaches millions of people, right? And if you make millions of dollars and you're serving like every single place in the world, you need a lot of things, right? So I need a lot of assistance in different ways. I never even consider myself an independent man. A lot of people say, oh, I want to be independent. No one is independent. The roads that you drive on is built by somebody else, right? The car that you drive, if it ever breaks down or something happens, you got to take it to the mechanic. So you're not independent unless you could fix all these things, create your own roads, create your own foods. That's being really independent. So I love dependency. I love that other people can work with me and help me develop ideas and fashion new abilities and new products and services that I need. It's amazing to have so many people to help you, right? That's called leverage too. Leverage is knowing that other people are going to do it for you. I don't have time to clean my house. I have someone else doing that for me. I don't have time to do little things that take an hour of time that someone can do for 15, 20, $25 an hour. Like I know that I have the potential of doing way more with that time. And so I'm going to leverage my time. I'm going to leverage myself so that I can get that done. So, anyways, I know you guys understand this. This is a big deal. Of course, this is Daniel Alley. I appreciate you. If you have any questions, just write me at info@danielalley.com. Many thoughts here that I shared, many ideas, many concepts. All you got to do is just put it to work. And if you need my help, reach out to me. I appreciate you guys. Much love. Big things coming your way. By the way, I got my new book coming out. I'm very excited about that. $1,000,000 Advice. Just found out the word count is 1,100 pages. Big deal. So I cut it up into 7 sections, but I'm also offering it in a whole section, the whole book. And actually finding a place to publish that was kind of difficult because most people don't publish 1,000+ page books, right? But I will, and I do, and it's going to be the greatest gift to the self-help industry ever. The greatest combination of quotes that anyone ever put together, basically by themselves. And I single-handedly did it. You guys are going to love it. It's on my website, danielalley.com, if you want to get it. I appreciate you guys. Much love to you. Always do it big. And remember, Jesus Christ is Lord. I'll see you next time, and take care. Bye-bye.